JB here. Hope everyone's doing outstanding. Thursday, June 5th, 322. On this fine afternoon, talk quick about the market. Some names I'm looking at, go from there. I'm actually not going to talk about too many names here. I mean, the big headlines obviously is this feud between Trump and Musk, and you knew that was kind of come to a head. There was last Friday he had him at a press conference at the White House in the Oval Office, and he kind of said, "Thank you, Elon," end of his term or whatever. And Elon had the black eye and all that fun stuff. And then today you have the German chancellor, new German chancellor. I don't even know his name. I always remember Merkel, but needless to say, he's in the Oval Office, and then it goes from talking about trade and Ukraine and Russia, and then boom, it goes right on to Musk, and then that was it because Musk has been pretty vocal about the tax bill, right? The great tax bill. I mean, here's Musk came in, did the Doge pro, all these cuts, and then he sees the bill. He says, "Wait, why did I do all this stuff for?" But yeah, we just I mean, all you can do is kind of like laugh, right? I mean, I'm unfortunately, I'm sitting there listening to the comments. I'm like, and then you start seeing the tweets, and it's funny. I do quotes every morning because I think it's like important to get kicked the day off. Maybe there's some little, even if it just makes someone smile, laugh, think, motivates you or whatever it is. And today's was paralyzed resistance with persistence. And if you followed Musk from 2012, 2000, like what that's what he is, right? He's wired different, right? Whether he has autism or burgers, whatever you call it, Asperger's, I forget what that's called. Whether he has that or just he's wired different, that's what he is, and he's persistent. Like he's like a dog, when when the dog's trying to get food from a bowl, and it's on the ground. If you don't take that food off the ground, the dog's going to keep trying to go after it. He's persistent, and you just knew, like once Trump made those comments, and once he was the minute he got wind of it, you knew it was going to be nonstop tweets about it. So sure enough, that's what happened, and it's just not a good look now. Like you look at Tesla, it's like it's not even based on fundamentals, valuation, the credits going away, or whatever the subsidies. I don't even think it's that. It's more just it's like uncertainty. What is number one, he lost the Democratic side, so people were buying the cars there. You kind of lost that side. Now you flip it around. Is he going to lose the other side? It's just not a good situation. So we'll see. I was not the first, second, or third time there's been concerns here with Tesla, but unfortunately, it's dragging the market down, and that's just not a good look for the for the country. And then you have the richest person on the planet with the most powerful person on the planet going at it on X, and then Musk just says he's in the Epstein files. Like holy smokes, like this is like and they're supposed to be running one's supposed to be running the country, other's supposed to be running $1 trillion company. So hopefully this settles out. I don't know what that looks like. But it's just not a good look, right? And the market is about confidence, right? I've talked about it back and forth. If you were around, I bring these stories up from back in the day, the big flash crash, whether I think it was like 2014, 2015. And I remember that day that like shattered my confidence in the market. I'm like, how can one trade or one fat finger or one mistake cause the market to tank, the Dow to lose 1,000 points, whatever it was, in a matter of a minute because someone just did the wrong trade, right? I mean, just crazy stuff that's happened. You lose confidence in the markets, and to me, like this is like you lose a little bit of luster in the market right now. Confidence, not only in Musk, but it's like, I mean, this feud's going to come to the forefront and be like this. I mean, it's just well, we'll see how things play out. Anyway, that's kind of my little rant. But unfortunately, I'm watching that feud and I'm like, this is probably negative Tesla. But I mean, Tesla's been down for a couple days in a row, and you look at the chart on Tesla, and I'm not one to get puts on Tesla. I mean, I'll have stories over the years if you've listened to the rants. Um, where are we here? So Tesla was already actually was up one, two, three, four, oh, five of the past six sessions. So I missed that bounce, but it's not. Oh no, I'm on the weeklies. Why am I on the weekly chart? That's why. Okay, so it's down 20% this week. Yeah, so it's already down one, two, three, four. Yeah, like, well, today's Thursday, so it was down 3 to 4 days this week. Well, yeah, including today. And then you look from its highs from last week, it was 360. So it was sitting at 310 or something. I'm watching, I'm like, oh, 304, 200-day moving average. Maybe it bounces there. And then we get this news. And it's like, I should have just, but hey, you live and you learn. But then if you look, the 285 puts are 10,000%. Let's see what they are now. I I was looking before. It doesn't do any good to look at these things because all it does is give you FOMO, right? And then maybe you'll make some stupid trade. But if they're up 13,000%. So you could have got the 285 puts, and I could probably pull up the timing on it. They were 18 cents. They're now $10.25. So if you bought $180, they're $100,000. Is that right? Or is it $10,000? My brain's not working. Uh, 10,000, 10, 1. No, yeah, 10,000. But either way, that's pretty good stuff, right? So there's always trade. That's why options can be fun. All right, so unfortunately, what's happened now is you take a look at some of the names that were looking great this morning. 11 o'clock, 9:30 today. W was over 46, 9:45. Then it was hanging around 45. I'm like, I'll take 45 for today, and then sure enough, it pulls. I mean, it's still in the green, but W is only at 44.40. Still like this one. My calls were almost a double at the open early in the morning. I almost was able to close them out to cover costs. I think they got up to like 115. I wanted to get out at 130, so. I'll continue to hold those. Then you have lemonade. I would put it on the watch. I'm like, if it shows some signs of strength in the morning, I think this is squeeze 2.0. Sure enough, by mid morning, it's 38.28. My calls are back solidly in the green, and then boom, we just a rough afternoon. And rough in context of, hey, the S&P is still up 0.5% this week. Uh, you know the the yields are lower, or at least for now. Where's the TLT? I didn't even have that up on my. Yeah, well, actually, yeah, they're slightly. It's kind of like flat now. And then tomorrow now is this jobs report. So it's just, I mean, just crazy stuff to see this feud. So I don't know, how this gets rectified, what that looks like. We know all these over the last couple of weeks. Friday morning has been the tweet fest for Trump. So I'm sure there'll be some tweets coming out. What does that look like? Is he, I made a joke that he's going to announce 25% tariffs on Teslas, but the Teslas are all made and assembled in the United States. So uh, unless you plan on tariffing your own company, like I don't know how that would work, right? But well, unless you're his um, you're Navarro, and Navarro's, his the trade, I forget what his name is, the trade bureau, and he says, oh, Tesla's engines they have engines, and it's like, oh my gosh, like how ignorant you have to be talking about something on television with an audience and not know how these EVs work. But so who knows what kind of tweets are going to come out tomorrow morning? You would hope, and what I was hoping today is like now you have some kind of glimmer of hope, silver lining, the light at the end of the tunnel kind of situation where China and U.S. are talking now. Trump and President Z whatever talked, and maybe there can be a little more uh, concrete news coming out in regards to what this tariff situation looks like. But now it's like we're back to I wouldn't say square one, but all things considered, I mean, here's the market still well above liberation highs. At 597, 586 to 597 continues to be the tradable range. And we've got up to 590 this morning on the SPY. And then hopefully we get that jobs report tomorrow comes. I'm expecting to be weak, right? Maybe 70,000 jobs created, but just not negative. And then maybe markets can find a balance to be some playable opportunities. But similar to the last couple of days, I was looking at Reddit calls yesterday. I looked at them this morning. I almost grabbed them again on the spike, right? It had a nice reversal from the open. And then boom, that one's trading right down at 113. So that might be a tradable bounce tomorrow on some lottos. I was actually looking at Roku, and that's one of those names that just calls me and you look, it's been churning around. I wouldn't say churning, but melting slowly to the upside. You take a look at what's happened with Netflix and streaming and all those content providers. Like, how is Roku still stuck here? I almost got some June 85s, but maybe a name I'll revisit. But that one, 76.50 at 2 o'clock, looking great, and boom, it's down here at 74 and change, but still up nearly 1%. So all things considered, it's not a horrible day. And then the other names, right? So Yext, no news, no catalyst that I can see of. You did have an analyst this morning just raise their price target, but keep their neutral rating. Davidson, uh, but that just sold off at the open like there was some kind of catalyst, and it's finally is bouncing here. It's only down 2% right now, so maybe some follow through tomorrow. If it gets back over 9, I might look for some more strikes there. Joby is doing nothing recently since that Saudi Arabia news. Uh, I mean, down here it just hit lows just before. I still like this one. I'll be patient, adding some more strikes there. And just like a frustrating afternoon, right? It looked like, hey, maybe we could if we have some follow through tomorrow, it could be some fun trades, but not the unfortunately not the case. And take it with a grain of salt. Thankfully, I didn't load the boat yesterday and today in regards to positions, right? Or the start of the week. So I'll continue to be selective. Um, I was looking at pool strikes, and that's been flat here today. Um, TKO, it's up nearly another 2% here today. I'm kind of frustrated I missed that one. I was looking at MDB at the open. I'm like, okay, if this holds gains at 330, I might look for, 230, I might look for some strikes to play for a bounce. Funny enough, when it opened at like 233 or so, the 250s were slightly in the green. So thankfully, I, held off on that, but could be a name I revisit in the coming days. DocuSign reports after the close today. So, here it is. It was slightly in the green into the afternoon. I'm like, I should have got those 105s for premium builds. And then boom, we get the pull into the afternoon, those 105s. I mean, they're still 90 cents. They were 45, 50 cents at the start of the week. But hey, what are you going to do? I think that's it, folks. I'll be back on audio later, but tomorrow, I was looking at Restoration Hardware, RH. I might try to do some lottos tomorrow. That's another name that, I started a week. I was looking at the 195s, and then even this morning, the 195s, I was like, wow, I could have gone for 30, 40 cents. But now you start looking at 190s or 20 by 45. So if the jobs report comes out in line or above expectations, and looks like the market's gonna rally, I don't be surprised if I add some lottos there. And that's it. Let's have a great day, folks. Rock and roll.